Yo, Sigma here. So, as I've promised in past videos, this is a tutorial for building a basic Gunpla. So for today, I'm setting my filter so that I've only got max upgraded parts. This is mostly to ensure that everyone can see I'm using, for the most part, event parts that were given out in the weeks that I've played this game. So most people should be able to build this or a comparable suit like it. I'm also building this to challenge the weekly missions that require you to build a suit with 5 of the event parts. So that's why I'm starting off with the Barbatoros parts here and there. But generally speaking, I'm going for a balanced build in this one. A little bit of melee, a little bit of range, because it's not going to excel in either of those with these level of parts, to be frank. It's fairly easy here at the beginning to get the Gundam tag, because I'm using all the Barbatoros parts, and they're rife with Gundam tags. They don't exactly optimize the suits to have a perfect 3-tag setup. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. In this case, there's a lot of overlap and redundancy. So as you can see, I've finally put on all the Barbatoros parts, and I can finally turn off the filter that's for event boost. And this is where we get into the bread and butter of it, where I start using actually decent parts or semi-decent parts. Now, of course, for every build, you're not going to need to have a red tier or higher part. What I'm really trying to emphasize here is more about the fact that I see some players overloading their suit with EX skills. You only need 3. Every EX skill that you have slotted past 3 is a waste, because they're not providing a trait to buff your suit. You can only use 3 executable, aka EX skills, on a suit. So make sure that you have the sub-slots filled with parts with good traits or good EX skills, or provide a word tag if they already have a decent EX skill or grade, or trait, excuse me. So now it's got most of the parts down, and I'm mostly perusing the parts for decent traits and word tags. So that's why I'm going a little bit slow here through the list, because I'm taking a moment to read what every effect does. To be entirely honest, I go a little bit harder into this than I really need to. But, you know, as you can see, or as you will see, it's fairly easy to build a suit capable of facing the events without much difficulty if you follow the achievements, if you follow the bingo. I always spend the first awakening on whatever part gives you the word tag tickets, because that should provide as many tickets as you need to upgrade for that week's event. I haven't gotten to the pilot yet, because generally speaking, I'm trying to evaluate what job grade what job it will be able to fill. And like I said, I lean into the event parts a little bit more here. And I like to lean into altered parts, because like I said before, if a part doesn't have a trait, and you're at 3 AX skills, you're wasting a slot. And similarly, if a part can have 2 traits instead of 1, you should absolutely do that. Now, in one of my previous videos, I mentioned the back I'm going to equip here. The Barbatoros back is incredible, in my opinion, for countering the cooldown strategies that have become so prolific in this game. I'm so happy that they've actually produced something like that, finally. And this is one of the cases where I picked the wrong trait, because I end up using a middle shooter, not an infighter. AI, but that's fine. It didn't need to be perfect. This isn't going to be competing in PvP. This is just to complete an event, and it's way overpowered, to be entirely frank, for what it's going into. So yeah, now I'm into the home stretch of building this. That's why I picked the close combat tag there, because it's fairly decent melee, but at least, you know, at this level, it's definitely not perfect, though. So I went with Ren Kotomori. I scroll for a little bit, but ultimately Ren's probably the best one for this. I don't know why I didn't pick the other Ren. I'm not sure. Probably due to traits. And the final word tag here I decide to put on for computers, because it's a relatively it's not very useful in my opinion. The 1% traits they're just silly. I don't see why they're even there. 1% of 100,000 is not a very significant amount. Not really. Not in this game. But they act like it's a great thing. Operator base is functionally useless too, but we're not getting into that right now. We're just trying to build a decent suit. And I decided to settle on the Blazing Gundam arms because they've got that computer word tag like I was wanting. And I'll get a buff on this particular mission for that. I think I ended up making this a type that's weak against the enemies in this. So, final step is to make sure you have all of your EX skills slotted. Yeah, I spent a lot of time to level up both of those EX skills, both the PX system and the star funnels. Those are very useful skills, in my opinion. And then I take a little bit of time here to work on the aesthetics of the Gunpla, because I don't like clipping parts. It looks bad to me. Not everyone has that same sense of aesthetic as I do. I just don't like it, and I kind of feel like they could have done better as a game developer. But it's something that even really, really great games don't pull off very well, unfortunately. And like this game could be amazing if it weren't so greedy. So now I decide to pick a paint job because I don't like to go in unpainted. I hate that look of a cobbled together suit. I get that some people don't have the time for it. I absolutely understand that. I just think that they could at the very least pick something from the generic sets. Something. Anything, please. But I settle on one of my Tonbo color schemes because I worked pretty hard on those, although I don't decide to tweak it because why would I? That would ruin my main suit. So now I finally painted it, and for the final piece of this, we're going to challenge the mission with the suit that I just showed building. Now, again, like I said, this isn't going to be incredible. This isn't meant to face off against other PvPers and so on. This is just a basic suit design. So, to summarize, make sure that you only have 3 EX skills slotted. Make sure that you have all of your other traits very, very focused upon your build. You're going to want to make sure that if it mentions a weapon type, that your skin or your mobile suit has that weapon type. And if it has a word tag specification, you're going to want that word tag specification. Obviously. So here, as you see, it didn't take us any effort whatsoever, even though this is supposed to be a challenge. But yeah, I'm also using my cooldown heavy builds on this, so Koryu takes him out pretty easily. And I just kind of get to watch because I like that. All right, thanks for joining me. I hope this was helpful. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, or comment if you feel like heckling.